Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, villagers, shows, desolations, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And I'm going to do a 3 or 4, maybe 5-part series on the police. Obviously, the police have been in the news quite a bit lately as a result of police brutality and in this ridiculous behavior by the New York City Police Department, blackmailing a city and other associated behavior. Aberrant behavior of the police of New York. But anyway, that's something I'll get into later. Right now, I want to dive into this video about the police, and that's the police and weight, and as well as police and the supposed danger of their job. And so let's start with the first one. I'm sure I'm like most people out there. You watch all these videos with all these police, and you go, Jesus Christ, look at those fat fucks. And, well, it's actually not a coincidence or a surprise, as it turns out, that when you see these police, you see a lot of fat fucks. And the reason why is because the police and the security guards are one of the more obese occupations in the United States. And this is according to the American Journal of Preventive Medicine. And interestingly enough, the first group of workers who are the most obese in America are security guards, police, and firefighters. And then the second largest group of obese workers in America is social workers, clergy, and counselors. And interestingly, probably the most interesting is the slimmest workers are economists, scientists, and psychologists. So, of course, all these brainiacs. Only 14% in that group are obese, but amongst police, 41% are technically obese. So, direct correlation to the fat fucks that we see in the field. And in the general U.S. population of workers, we have a 27% obesity rate. So the police have an almost twice. I know that's stretching it, but still substantial, say 30% above the national average. So police are abnormally obese and disproportionately, so to speak, obese per their occupation. And interestingly enough as well, in 2014, the weight loss industry was a $60 billion industry. So that's obviously going to have to be a topic for another day. So here we have another part of the police, U.S. police mythology, this idea that they're out there working hard every day, and this kind of dispels that myth, and unfortunately increases the mythology that police spend too much time in donut shops. But this also explains one of the reasons why they have to shoot so many citizens, because they're just too fucking fat to chase them anymore. So we'll have to factor that in any future analysis of police brutality incidents. And the other thing I want to bring up is a article that I'll attach below from Carl Denninger, who incidentally hates me. But Carl Denninger posted the relative fatality rates amongst police. And once again, we have this huge police mythology that we need to dispel, that the police are in constant danger and are constantly moving. So we find out they're not only that they're fat, but they're afraid. There's 126 police deaths in 2014. And we don't have any current figures for police deaths for citizens, although I think the average is about 1,000 a year. So once again, we have police deaths at 126, but we have probably around 1,000 citizens being killed in that same year, and yet we have this mythology that there is a war on cops. And to put it in perspective, we have putting all law enforcement, local law enforcement of the states all together, we have about 1 million police officers countrywide. So the deaths are about 12.6 per 100,000. So a very small rate of the possibility that you're going to be shot as a cop, or at least killed. But certainly the percentage of citizens who are going to be killed by a cop, percentage goes way up. But let's look at relatively the fatality rate amongst cops. They are far behind loggers, who have 10 times the death rate of police. Fishermen have 10 times the death rate of police officers. Pilots have 4 times the death rate of police officers. Roofers have 3 times the death rate of police officers. Garbage men have 2 times the death rate of police officers. The only other that compare that have about the same or lower deaths is truck drivers and farmers. So it doesn't sound like police work is altogether that dangerous, and it's obviously not that strenuous because, as it turns out, we have a lot of fat fucks out there who are afraid of something that's not going to happen. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.